So I get it. You're scouring the internet right now. You're trying to research to figure out what you need to do to either start tuning as a new tuner, be a better tuner, or just to understand tuning in general. I mean, you may be tired of going to a shop and paying that person to tune your vehicle and you have no idea what's going on. You don't know if they're telling you the truth or not. So you're just trying to figure this out. Well, I'm a 17-year veteran tuner, and I would like to give you guys some tips as to what I wish I knew when I got my start. Let's get into it. So the first thing that I wish I knew about when I got my start on tuning is picking a niche and sticking with it. So I knew that there were certain vehicles that I like. I prefer to tune domestic V8s. Primarily the GM platform, LSLT platform. I really specialize in like the Gen 5 stuff. But I knew that I needed to tune a niche. What happened is when I got my start, I wanted to tune everybody's car. I wanted everybody to know that I'm their go-to guy. So I would try to tune import cars. I would try to tune standalones that I had no idea about. I would try to just do this stuff, and I would tell people, and I wasn't realistic with my capabilities. I would just tell people, hey, I can do this, not a problem. Come to find out, I got to where I could be okay at tuning that type of vehicle, but I wasn't really good at it. So what I've learned is you actually will get your most business and have your most enjoyment when you actually know that vehicle that you're tuning like the back of your hand. I mean, it is one of those things where I can get into an LS or LT vehicle and notice something that's going on. And if I'm working on stock ECU or Holly, I mean, I can literally just pinpoint it in a matter of seconds, get it fixed, get it out the door, have a happy customer. So that's going to be my very first step, is understanding the niche that you want to tune. So step number 2 is going to be picking out the platform that you want to tune with. If you're going to tune LS, LT, stock ECU, HPtuners is where it's at. If you want to tune Dodge or Ford, realistically, HPtuners is still where it is at. It used to be SCT and Diablo. HPtuners is kind of cornered the market. If you want to tune on like a Subaru, you would go to Cobb. If you want to tune on a full-on race car, you would want to use either Haltech or Motec or Holly. You need to pick out the platform that you are going to want to tune on, and you need to get good at it. So you want to be able to maneuver around the software quickly. You want to learn the hotkeys. You want to learn how to jump right into a data log and process that data log super quick, because in this business, time is money. And that's one of the biggest issues that I have with tuners as they're up and coming, is they just don't know how to charge for their time, and they just don't know how to be honest with customers as to what they as tuners are capable of. So that's going to be step number 2, is pick out your platform that you're going to tune your niche vehicle on and master that shit. I mean, just get it dialed in and be able to buzz through that software. If I say, hey, where's this tune file at? Or hey, where's this table at? You should be able to just in a split second know exactly where it's at any given time. So that's step number 2. So step number 3, you've picked out your niche, you've picked out your tuning platform, now it's time to learn. So the first thing I'm going to tell you, put down those tuning books. Stop paying for the online video courses. All the information that you need in order to be able to tune is already out there. It's already free. If you understand how to Google and dig through that stuff and actually put some research in, you're going to be a good tuner. If you are the type of person that need everything laid out to you and you have no actual drive to be able to dig around for the answers, let's just go in and click off the video now. You're not going to make it as a tuner. You've got to be willing to do the research. So these places that offer these tuning guides, it's not that they're putting out bad information. They're just charging you for information that's actually free. So you could take that money and go ahead on and buy a nice like Ballinger wideband for your vehicle, or go in and pay for a HPtuners MPVI 3 and a ProLink cable. You go in and take that money and go in and invest in this stuff now. Especially with places like this, like places like YouTube or TikTok or Instagram. You'd be surprised that the guys we try to put out this information to teach you guys how to tune. So if you're new here, if you scroll through my videos, I've got videos. If you're into LS or LT V8s, or if you're into just using HPtuners platform in general, I've got videos explaining all this stuff, and I've got vlogs where I actually will put live vehicles on the dyno and we'll actually do the diagnostics. We'll actually go through and try to troubleshoot every little thing. But all this information that I'm teaching you guys is information that I had to learn the hard way. I've read through some of these tuning books, and I'll be honest, most of the time they're teaching you the wrong way. They're teaching you the shortest way possible to make it to where you can get a vehicle to start and run, but they're starting you off incorrectly. Now, if you do want a DVD to watch, if you're a GM guy and you don't want to just wait for me to bring out a video, or you don't want to dig around on HPtuners pages, the best DVD, or the best thing I found, is a DVD by a company called Calibrated Success. And the gentleman's name is Greg Banish, and he was a GM calibration engineer. And he is the only person that I've found for the money that teaches you the correct way in a non-stop DVD format. He's got Gen 3, Gen 4, Gen 5 DVDs available. You can spend $750 or so, buy all three, and it'll kind of get you in the ballpark. But even with his DVDs, you have to have some general knowledge of an engine. You have to have just really common sense and the ability to get on to Google or whatever your search engine is and actually do the research. So that's step number 3, is let's get the research going. So step number 4, you've already got your niche, you got your tuning software, you've been trying to learn. The next thing is going to be understanding diagnostics. Troubleshooting is 90% of my job, maybe 95%. When I was trying to go through the forums or the Facebook pages or whatever, guys would explain to me how to tune. So I would just start basically just taking the data and just rolling right through the tune, but I wouldn't look at possible vacuum leaks, possible misfires. I almost ignored that stuff, exhaust leaks, things like that. Didn't even dawn on me. I'm just thinking, no, I just got to tune this engine. I just got to get it going. You got to learn how to diagnose. If you aren't sure how to learn how to diagnose misfires and things like that, just, go through these videos. Again, if you watch my channel, a lot of my vlogs, I will show you this stuff. You may need to grab you a smoke machine, grab you just some basic hand tools to be able to change out spark plugs. Just realistically, it comes down to common sense again. Is being able just to look over an engine, make sure there's not a hose laying off of it, make sure fuel pressure is set up correctly. That is, realistically, that's the most critical step to tuning. But obviously in this video, step 1 would have had to been pick out your niche, stuff like that. So anyways, troubleshooting. That's going to be my step 4. Learning how to troubleshoot, understanding how to check engine lights, understanding how to just do general research on troubleshooting, making sure you don't have any leaks, just things like that. So anyways, let's move on to the next step. So step number 5 is going to be just get out there and do it. Go to the drag strip, go to a drift event, go to anywhere that has the kind of motorsports that you want to tune for, whether it be mud drags, whether it be, realistically, any of those events. You go there. You're probably going to find somebody that has laptop open and is trying to learn how to tune, or they are already really good tuner and they're working. Go talk to people. Make friends in the automotive industry. Try to just ask questions. Never be scared to ask questions. That's one thing I will tell you, that is, of all the tuners that I know, the best ones aren't scared to ask questions. The ones that are failing right now think that they have such an ego that they will never continue to try to learn. They don't ask questions. They tune the same way that they did back 10, 15 years ago. I have to go behind these guys and retune them multiple times a week because they just don't care anymore. They're doing this just to grab money from people. They're not doing it for the passion. So you've got to want to do this, but don't be scared to ask. So, I appreciate you guys coming into my comments and asking me questions, and I'm going to continue to do this stuff because I want to help you guys learn. I have guys on TikTok that ask me questions. I don't mind it, but if you're the kind of person that is scared to ask questions, you don't like people, tuning is probably not the thing for you. Now, I will tell you flat out, I'm not the biggest fan of having to deal with retail people. Some off the street people that don't really understand vehicles, they piss me off quite a bit, but I still have to be nice to them. I may get super pissed whenever they leave, but you got to be nice to them. You got to be able to talk to them. Being a social person, don't be scared to get out there. That's going to be step number 5. So step number 6 is going to be understanding the basics. Realistically, whether it's the basics of the engine or if it's the basics of the sensors that your ECU is using, you need to understand all the basics. So obviously with an engine, we know it needs, it needs air, it needs fuel, it needs spark, it needs compression to actually light off. You have to understand that first. You need to understand, You know, what a camshaft does, what pistons and rods do. You need to understand what valves do, valve springs, rocker arms. You need to understand all the basics of an engine. You don't have to know everything. You know, you don't have to know what the cylinder heads flow. You don't have to know what camshaft's in it. You don't have to know all that stuff to actually start the tuning process. You just need to understand its basic function. So then the next thing you need to understand is you need to understand the sensors of the engine. The most critical ones like mass airflow sensor, manifold air pressure sensor, oxygen sensor, fuel pressure sensor if you have one, all throttle position sensor. You know, those things you need to understand what they are and how they function in the engine and how the ECU interprets their data. So that's going to be step number 6, is going to be understanding the basics. So my 7th and final step is going to be, I guess it's kind of the same thing, but kind of different. If you're going to do this professionally, be picky. And when I say picky, I mean be picky about your customers, be picky about the vehicles that you're working on. If you want to deal with some of these thrown together combinations that the wiring looks like a rat's nest and it's near impossible to get everything sorted and you're already charging too little as it is, you go right on ahead. But when I started to become successful was whenever I decided that I'm the one in control of what I tune. I don't tune everything. I tune what I want to tune. I tune what I know is going to make my life easier. And if I am challenged by a vehicle, then I'll make sure to tell the customer, hey, there's going to be extra charge for this because of this. But the same thing goes for the customers. If I have a customer that, say they have my phone number and they call me 4 times in an hour and they've messaged me on Facebook and they've messaged me on Instagram, they've sent me a message or email, if they've done all that within an hour, you're fired. I don't have time for that shit. If you cause me stress in my life, I'm done. And I hope you guys will be the same, because this stuff is fun. I enjoy tuning. I never work a day in my life unless I'm dealing with a bad customer or a shitty car. And so the best way to prevent those is just to not do it. If you need to hold off on being a professional and you keep a normal day job and just do this as a hobby for a while until you build up the clientele, please do it. But please don't let this cool thing that we get to do become a job. Keep it fun. Even if you're doing it every single day for the rest of your life, keep it fun, be picky, and have a good time. Again, thanks for the likes and comments, guys. If I've given you some information that you can appreciate, just please click the subscribe button. If you want to learn some how-tos on tuning, I'm going to continue to tune. I'm going to share all the information that I know. One way or the other, I'm going to share it all. I'm going to get it all out there. I'm going to have videos on MAF tuning, on VE tuning. I'm going to continue to do this stuff. I'm also going to continue my vlogs to show you real-world experiences to what I'm diagnosing on customers' cars and what it takes to actually complete them. I should be back in a vlog-style video tomorrow. So anyways, I will see you guys tomorrow.